Hello, my friends. Welcome to episode 52 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am the Professor Larry, and over there is Anthony,
the developer.
How are things going today, Anthony?
Fine. Now you can hear me.
I can hear you great. We've recorded this intro about 7 times because my computer was being a little finicky.
I'm doing good, though. Yeah. I'm very tired. Spent the day at the state fair.
Nice.
Which is full of lots of fair food and very overpriced rides.
What's your favorite fair food?
The bloomin' onion.
Oh, God.
Giant deep fried onion.
I'm not going to ask you the calories on that thing.
I at least split it with 2 other people.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure my portion, it was dinner. My portion was dinner.
Right. And that's just a deep fried onion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It has pretty good batter on it.
Yeah.
What else? The Washington State Fair, we have scones. Scones are a really big deal there.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole fair scone thing up here. Fisher Fair scones. And seriously, people, end of the day, they're just lines. You wait in for half an hour, 45 minutes, get like a dozen scones as you leave.
Dang.
Like, it's a thing, the fair scone.
I'm a big fan of scones, but I'm not a big fan of waiting in line that long for a scone.
I know. As my wife, when she grew up down there, she said the Del Mar Fair, corn was the big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like roasted corn. She always said that that's just like her memory of every time she go there, the first time she would step into Del Mar was like the smell of the corn.
Yep, that makes sense. Roasted corn slathered with, sometimes I saw it slathered with mayo or chili powder or, limon.
Yeah.
So, did you ride any rides today?
Actually, I didn't. My kids rode a few things, but they wanted to ride with their grandma and mom, and I sat around waiting.
They didn't want you with them?
No.
Dang. I hope my kids are like that, because I hate rides.
But they didn't do anything too crazy. The giant slide, which maybe would freak you out. I don't know.
It probably would, yeah.
Nothing too great. Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That doesn't bother me.
Nothing too crazy. Couple fun houses, but mostly we just wandered around, looked at animals, and ate some food.
Well, I am tired as well. Tonight was the first softball game in our season, and we went into the 6th inning leading by 3, and we ended up losing by 3. The last inning sucked, but the second inning, I walked out. Okay, let me preface this by saying that I was wearing my Giants gear today. I had my Giants t-shirt, my Giants hat. So I walk, and I go to first, and the guys are wearing a Giants or a Dodgers hat. And he's like, "You got an ugly fucking t-shirt on." I look at him. I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I should have worn my World Series championship shirt instead. Or the other one. Or you know what? I could have worn the other one too." He just stared at me. So that was funny enough, but then I get to third, and then their team, I don't know how they did what they did, but they tried to throw back to third because I had gone past third, and they're trying to get me out, and as they threw it to third, they threw the ball at my chest, and it bounced off my chest into the outfield. So I ran home, and as I ran home, the guy with the Dodgers hat was standing there, and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, this ugly fucking shirt just got an RBI." He was not happy with me. But the Dodgers...
That it probably didn't feel too good once you lost.
No, just a bunch of stupid fucking errors, but whatever.
But you're like, oh, yay for smack talk.
Yeah, it would have been better to win, but the smack talk was pretty funny. But then the Dodgers clinched the NL West today, and the Giants are obviously almost not going to the playoffs, so he gets the last laugh. So whatever. So that was my day.
It happens.
Well, today we have some news. We'll get into some happy news, but we're going to start with some shitty news first. We're going to talk about this dude named Palmer Luckey.
And shit posters.
The shit poster extraordinaire. Then we'll talk about some Nintendo and some Ubisoft and Yacht Club games, and then talk about the games that we are playing. And off topic, we'll end with fall TV we are looking forward to. So, first things first, you brought this news to my attention. It's about Palmer Luckey and founding or giving money to some shit posting company, anti-Hillary, pro-Trump shit going on.
It's a weird, convoluted mess. And honestly, if I hadn't sent it to you, you would have found it. It blew up huge.
Yeah.
Because you can't be the founder of Oculus who made an absolute crap ton of money, and this comes out and not make the news.
Right.
So, where to start with it? Palmer Luckey, he is the founder of Oculus. When Facebook bought them, he got a bunch of money, a lot of money. As far as I know, he's still part of Oculus in some role. It did take Facebook a little bit of time to actually clarify what that role was.
Since this or before?
Since this.
Oh, okay. Good.
So they were very... And I don't know if Facebook's actually made a comment on it. Oculus has made a comment on it.
Right.
But Oculus is owned by Facebook. They were bought by Facebook. So there was I'm pretty sure Zuckerberg has very different politics than Palmer Luckey.
Oh, yeah.
So
obviously.
I'm sure this, in some ways, internally, like, everyone can have their own politics and beliefs, but
yep.
It probably did cause some friction, I can only imagine.
Well, and there is the freedom of speech in our country, obviously, but the freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences.
No.
Like, if I say something stupid, I get called out on it, right? Or
and so the key part to me in this, so Palmer Luckey, he gave a bunch of money to this company called Nimble America, and they were like, one of their base premises, like, taking Reddit posts and, like, online memes and taking that and putting it on billboards. Can you sway politics with these memes?
Right. Like,
out of just the internet? Totally can. I'm sure you can. Like, a single picture with words is actually really powerful. We've seen it all throughout history. Mm-hmm. That's not new. It's usually called propaganda. But he invested in this company, definitely gave them money, and then this is where it kind of gets murky on how much he was involved with that company. So on Reddit, there was a person who would post as Nimble Rich Man, and the Daily Beast, who broke this story, has email records showing that the Palmer Luckey confirmed that he was Nimble Rich Man. Palmer Luckey has gone on to say he is not, publicly said he is not Nimble Rich Man. And this guy definitely talked up very anti-Hillary, pro-Trump, lots of what is termed as shit posting and the humor of it. So it's now coming out, it's like, okay, this guy who's worth probably close to $1 billion is funding these, probably the most base level kind of discourse in the country.
Right. With an agenda.
With an agenda. Like that he is doing this, like he has a political agenda. And that came out. And there's definitely been some anger around this. I know people that work at Oculus. They are not very happy with that happening. But a company is, and this is kind of a weird place for me, is I get that a company is not just one person.
Definitely not.
Palmer Luckey is not even the CEO of Oculus.
Right. He's
like, he handed that role off to someone else.
Right.
Like I have to find his exact title, but he's like effectively a CTO.
Yeah, I kind of wish that this didn't blow back onto Oculus, because I don't think that's fair. It's not like Oculus said this thing, but when someone is tied to...
He is the face of Oculus.
Exactly.
He started Oculus. He ran the Kickstarter for the Oculus Rift. Like, he built the first Rift himself. Like, he was the person pushing the technology.
Right.
That got us all. Like, he is the face of this company. Unfortunately, the company can't... It's not a clear division on that. Like, people associate him with Oculus. So what he says, they associate with Oculus.
Right, which is not fair, but is totally unsurprising.
It's the same thing with Mark. Like, I bring up Facebook. The stuff that Mark Zuckerberg does has blowback on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with the algorithm where they were accusing the algorithm of keeping out conservative news, like, that personally affected him, and it impacts him.
Yeah, he has to take care of that, and like, it's unfortunate that you have these big CEOs. I mean, Steve Jobs was the same way. the head of Google right now, Eric Schmidt, maybe. I could be getting that wrong.
You couldn't pay me $1 million to name that person. I have no idea.
Yeah, but I mean, all these people are still the very public heads of these companies, or were with Steve Jobs' case, and it's hard to look at one without the other.
Right. Yeah.
Either direction.
Absolutely.
And so this is definitely causing some flack to Oculus. This is all coming out. I'm just trying to read through. A lot of the stuff for Nimble America is posted in the subreddit, The Donald.
Yeah.
Which
is a cesspool.
Yeah, I mean, they want to be like NeoGAF, or not NeoGAF, 4chan. I like NeoGAF.
Exactly.
4chan, 8chan type, just like, it is that. It's just shit posting. That's what they want to do, and and they want no dissent in there, nothing. Like, it's just pro-Trump memes for the most part. And he's involved in it somehow. He says not as much, but he did give them money.
Yep, that's right. And this, at least in the Kotaku article here, but harkening back to the Daily Beast article, talking about Palmer Luckey's relationship with Milo, or I think it's Milo actually.
Oh right, yes.
Yiannopoulos, the MRA guy, got kicked off of Twitter for hate speech, sending his followers to just rip apart Leslie Jones for basically being a woman and being black on the internet or in popular culture. Just pushing the bounds of free speech and just generally being an awful person. And that connection, too, is laid bare a little bit here. So just in general, just not a great guy, this Palmer Luckey, as far as I'm concerned.
No,
which is
I should also mention he's also 24 years old.
Palmer Luckey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
24. As far as I know, pretty sure that he has, like, I don't know how much higher education he went through. Like, he is actually very technical savvy. Like,
well, of course, yeah.
Person, like, insane. Like, but it just rings to me of a 24-year-old with a shit ton of money.
Yep.
Like, I'm like, what are you, okay.
Well, and a 24-year-old...
I'm going to give this money because it seems like it's a fun thing to do. And I'm like...
Right. And he has every right...
Things have consequences.
Exactly. He has every right to do that. He didn't do anything, like, wrong, really. Like, obviously, from my political perspective, I don't agree with what he's doing, but legally or whatever, there's nothing wrong. It's just there are consequences when you do stupid shit. And he's facing that now, and I'm glad.
Yeah,
I really am.
He did apologize.
Yeah, I thought his post was, sincere. He said that, he contributed $10,000 to Nimble America because I thought he had fresh ideas. I'm a libertarian. I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson this election, and I'm not Nimble rich man, which means someone's lying. Lucky's lying, or the other guy's lying.
And then we get to the internet will always find out the truth. So give him time.
Can you read that in its entirety? Because I love this quote.
Yes, it's
from Gabe Newell.
This is from Gabe Newell. I don't remember how long ago it was. He was on an live interview when he said this. He's like, don't ever try to lie to the internet because they will catch you. They will deconstruct your spin. They will remember everything you ever say for eternity. Yep. And actually that will be true with Luckey. No matter what, there's always going to be people that are going to remember this and that because this is going to be tied to him. Well, like you search his name, I'm sure this will be on his Wikipedia now.
Oh yeah,
forever.
Yep. Well, I don't know if it's especially true because in the video game sphere, but I feel like take No Man's Sky for example. Like everything that Sean Murray ever said was vivisected after the game came out to see like what he promised and what didn't come out in the game, and it impacts like people remember what a dev said 10 years ago. And it still echoes on. The guy who did Fable, what's his name? Molyneux.
Yeah, Molyneux unfortunately he is one who likes to boast about things.
Right.
And, like, really dream big. And he probably says it a little bit too much, but yeah, he's still has that air around him of, oh, you tell us that trees were going to grow from little saplings to giant trees as we played the game. It doesn't do that. Why? You said it would.
Right. Yep. Yep, and that comes up every single time. Like someone lies about something, it's like, oh, it's a mall new here. It's like it just the internet doesn't forget and
doesn't forgive.
Right.
Another thing that's coming out of this is some developers are pulling Oculus support. So that's where if you have a person that's a face of a company, very tied to it, stuff like this happens. Other developers, this is kind of the consequences there, are like, well, we don't want to support you then. We're out. And they're like Vive only. So there hasn't been a ton, but there's definitely been like 4 or 5 different like VR companies that are just like, nope, our game's not coming to your thing. Biggest one being Polytron, who did Fez. So they have a new one coming out, and they're just like, nope, we're done. We'll
right.
We're definitely, they're PSVR exclusive at launch, and then they're like, we'll be on Vive.
Yep. So there you go. It's that when someone says something, they have the right to say it, but there are consequences. And I feel like the argument always is, well, it's censorship if you don't let someone say what they're saying.
No, he can say what he wants to say. That's totally fine.
Well, yes, but also censorship is not like me blocking someone on my Facebook group or Facebook wall or whatever. Censorship is the government blocking someone from saying something.
Yeah, and the government's not good. The government doesn't give a damn about this. They're like, whatever.
No. And that's not what's happening. And the cries of censorship, or you don't agree with what he's saying and you want to block what he's saying. Like, I don't want to hear what he's saying. He has a right to say it, but I don't need to allow it in my space, or I don't need to support it with my games. I don't need to support his system or his platform with my games. Well, that you're trying to censor his his views. No.
In some ways, whenever I was thinking about like whenever companies drop sponsorship to different athletes because of things that they say and do. Ryan Lochte.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan Lochte. Hashtag Ryan Lochte.
I mean, they're not censoring him. They're just like, you did something we disagree with, and we're out.
Right. Yep. And those are the consequences. That's just how it goes. So there are consequences. When I cuss on this show all the time, our sponsors, they back away from us. So we used to have 100 sponsors lined up, and then I started saying fuck a lot, and they were like, no.
You had 100 sponsors? That'd be amazing. We could have actually been paid doing this.
Well, I am getting paid for this. I just don't share the money.
Oh.
I don't share the money. Just kidding. Yeah, right. This is a what's it called? A passion of love, or a passion party?
Passion party. There we go. I'm sure that's. Do not look that up on an Urban Dictionary, because I'm.
Oh my god. There's the title of our episode, Passion Party with Palmer Luckey.
Oh. I do like the alliteration, so that's enough there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, passion. I'm gonna write that shit down. If not, this is gonna make it in my book of poetry. Anything else to say about the shit posting?
No, I don't think we're gonna be completely done with it.
Yeah. I don't know what other blowback there'd be. Like, he's not going to leave Oculus, or maybe, I don't know.
The only way I can see that that's going to happen will be, so Facebook I see has coming up in, I don't think this week coming up, but next week has an investor call, and I'm sure this is going to be on the topics that are being asked. Mm-hmm. So depends on what investors want to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen people resign over less. So if people keep talking about it and it keeps dragging down Oculus as a company, I would not be surprised if they like you need to go or separate yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Which would be kind of awful in some ways, but some pretty harsh consequences. But it's a public company and things like that do happen.
Right.
I've seen it. I've seen it happen multiple times, especially in games and things in tech. Like, yep, you said something really, really stupid publicly, or something stupid came out about you that pisses a lot of people off. You shouldn't be involved in the company anymore.
Yeah. Yep, we'll see. Well, we'll report on this again next week, I'm sure. Speaking of reporting, we're going to get right into the news after the break, so stay right there, and we will be right back. All right, my friends, welcome back from the break. I'm Larry. Over there is Anthony. We're going to talk about some cool news. The first one is from Nintendo.
This is cool news.
And I swear to God,
No, this isn't from Nintendo.
No, this isn't from Nintendo, but this is about Nintendo.
About Nintendo, which is the best part.
This is, those are always the best pieces of news, because you're not going to get it from Nintendo. But to preface this, I want to go back in time a week when I made a bold prediction that we would find out something about the NX this week. And I was fucking right.
I want to go back and listen to it. I thought you said Nintendo would say something about it.
I'm going to revise history. I don't exactly remember what I said, but the effect is the same.
It is the same. But Nintendo still has been silent.
Oh yeah, they have absolutely nothing. But this piece of news confirms, in my view, what the NX is going to be. It's going to be.
Oh yeah.
So it says, okay. So basically, the news is the Pokemon Company was speaking to the Wall Street Journal, talking about Pokemon titles available on the NX, and his quote is, "The NX is trying to change the concept of what it means to be a home console device or a handheld device. We will make games for the NX." So, two things here. One, he is confirming that it's going to be a home console with a takeaway handheld device, which is rad. Yep. Two, if they're making Pokemon games for the NX, Pokemon games are handheld games. They've Game Freak and Pokemon
Generally,
Company,
unless they're like side things.
Exactly,
they're
right.
a Snap and things like that.
That's right. Main title. Pokemon games are handheld. That's where the audience is. It's a great handheld game. It works for that.
Yeah.
That means this has got a handheld system attached to it in some way.
Yep, he has confirmed it. I really want to know how quickly he was called after saying this when it got pressed. And it's like, what did you say? Why did you say that?
Yep, immediately, I'm sure, because this is 100% real. Like, this is the best rumor, because it's totally true.
Yeah, so confirmed for Pokemon games on the NX. Hopefully closer to launch.
If they were
something
smart,
would be good.
Dude, just like launch with Mario. You got your new 3D Mario. Within the first 6 months, you have a Pokemon game. For Christ's sakes, put out a Metroid game. I know.
It launch with Zelda too.
Oh, sorry, yeah, and it's launching with Zelda. So it's launching with Zelda and Mario. Like, okay, you wanted games. Well, here are the two biggest games that you didn't get last generation. Like,
yep.
This is why I canceled my not NX. God damn it. This is why I canceled the PlayStation VR, because I know I'm gonna want an NX so bad. So that's where my money's gonna go.
I'm kind of there. I want the handheld thing more than anything.
Oh yeah.
That is the most intriguing part to this whole thing. Is so many times when I'm like, I don't really want to be out in my living room playing, but I wouldn't mind laying in bed playing.
Well, then they've got to increase the signal. Like the way that it is now, you can take your gamepad. I don't know if you tried it when you borrowed it from me.
As far as I know, and I'm hoping the rumors are true, that the actual whole console is the portable thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like some of the rumors have shown, it is actually the whole console itself is somewhat portable.
So then you just dock it and then...
Yes.
I got it.
You dock it to the TV. There's a dock that you then...
Right.
That's what a lot of the more rumors have been for a while. So it's not like this weird Wii U controller thing where it still is just streaming from the console to the controller.
That makes sense, and that would help with that issue. And then you wouldn't have to worry about when you take it out and about. As long as you have a Wi-Fi signal, then you're going to be able to hopefully cloud save or whatever. If this is a handheld and they're doing the cartridge thing, this has got to be backwards compatible with 3DS. Bring all the people in 3D. You're not just bringing over the people from the Wii U, you're bringing over the 3DS audience too. This is your next handheld, and you get to bring all your games with you. If you can bring all your games with you, all my Wii U games, all my 3DS games go to this thing, I would be all over that in a second. That just seems too good to be true, though.
It probably is. I could see, depending on the handheld part, doing something where it's not... Nintendo knows the hardware. They could actually build good hardware emulation for 3DS and probably into this thing. That probably would not be a hard thing to do.
Right.
Wii and Wii U stuff might be a little harder.
Because of the architecture?
Architecture is different. And then who knows how they would want to deal with the disc thing and how you transfer that. Say, like, how do you flag that they own that game or anything like that?
Yeah,
I could see digital things coming over easily, but if you had actual physical discs, that would be hard.
Right.
I don't know though. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't.
They need to just do something big here. They can't do a small iteration. This thing has to be actually pretty drastic.
Yep. Well, and there's no way this thing has a disk drive. This thing's not playing physical discs. That's why it's cartridges, because you can take those away and then you can play on the go. Discs are gone. It's either download or cartridges.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo and the NX, Foxconn right now is trialing Nintendo NX production. Want to take that one for us?
Huge.
Oh yeah.
So Foxconn, rumors have been that they have now started trial production of the Nintendo NX. About 6 months out from launch, they're starting trial production. So they'll probably do a couple, like, let's say, hopefully a month or two. They'll get through the trials, making sure that the production line actually works how they need it to work, and the failure rate is acceptable. And then this is from Digitimes, reports that Foxconn will be doing most of the manufacturing for the console, but they're working alongside a couple other companies. And they're hoping to produce 9.5 to 10 million NXs a month.
Oh, a year.
Oh, each year.
Yeah. Holy shit, a month.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the Wii U total sold, 13 million?
Yeah.
Something like that. So they're expecting big things for the NX. And the thing that I was kind of like, oh, this is another rumor. Who knows if it's true or not? But it says that third graph, it says if the process sounds like it's starting fairly late, the publication adds that Foxconn and Pegatron have now begun PlayStation 4 Pro production, and that console is coming out in November. So Foxconn can make a lot of stuff real quickly.
They can. I don't think it's starting late. About 6 months out is about right. So they probably do this for a month or two, get everything on the line working, and then just start ramping up the production line. So by the end of this year, so in September, so yeah, November, December, I would expect that they're actually full on producing these things.
If that's true, when is the Direct? When do they have the Direct to tell us what's going on with this NX thing?
It has to be sometime this fall, at latest. I think they want to have the Direct ideally in October.
Yeah.
I think.
I had all my money pegged for September, but that horse is basically
that's not happening,
dead
but
now.
I think October's pretty good. At latest, they want to do it before Thanksgiving here in the U.S.
So that people can allocate money for that later?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's crazy because I know hardly anything about it, and I decided not to jump on VR because just the promise of what it could be and how much I love Nintendo, like, that's where it's going to go. That's where my money's going to go.
It's true.
And for you've got to pay for a new PlayStation first.
Oh, don't remind me. We haven't talked about my pain.
So Anthony this week suffered a loss in the family. Real sad. You didn't flush it down the toilet, I don't think, like a goldfish, but
no, that would got stuck. I don't need that.
So tell our dear listeners what happened to you.
So I think this was what day was it? Someday last week. Can't remember anymore. I think it was Monday. Yeah, I just wasn't home. It was Monday. I had to go to D&D, so I didn't know. But midday, I was like, so the PS4 locked up, and I said it made an awful sound through the speakers, and then the screen was still kind of there, but had like white lines alternating across it. Like it full on crashed. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, and then it wouldn't turn back on. It would just turn into sleep mode. Like, or just wouldn't do anything. I'm like, okay, that's not good. So it was Tuesday before I could even look at it. It was like Tuesday night. And I pulled it out. And actually, she had left it unplugged. I plugged it. I actually pulled it into my office and plugged it into my other TV in my office. And it wouldn't even send a video signal. I just thought it was toast. Like, I hit the power button, it would make its beep, and then the blue light would just pulse, which means it can't send a video signal. And I was just like, well, I think it's dead completely, because I can't even get to safe. It won't boot to safe mode. It won't do anything.
And you've got a launch console, right? You bought this
I do.
First day one, yeah.
And so I unplug it again, leave it overnight. Wednesday night I get home after work, I plug it back into the main TV, and I actually get it to boot to safe mode. I don't know why the video signal decided to work, but it got to safe mode. I followed some steps I read online of like, okay, rebuild the database, and it actually seems to boot back up into the PS4. I watch a few short YouTube videos with my kid. It seems to be working. I turn it off. It's fine. My kids were still awake. Like, I came home, maybe this was Thursday, because I was home, and I tested it, and it was working. So I was like, cool. And then they went to bed, and I was like, okay, let's try this again. It was Thursday. I was actually trying it again. It's in the day, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to turn it on. There's a bunch of games that need to download updates, so I just let it sit and turn on, and I went back to my office while I was working, and I hear the awful sound. I go back out there, it's totally crashed. It took about 10 minutes. It was about 10 minutes. I just unplugged it, plugged it back in, and it booted back up again. Okay, let's see what happened. I start downloading stuff again. Yeah, right about 10 minutes, dead. And now, the last time I tried it on the weekend, I was like, fine, maybe it's overheating. I've vacuumed the thing out. I've done a ton of just cleaning on the whole thing. And, no, like, I put it all back together, and it just wouldn't even boot again. So I'm pretty sure the video card is fried.
And what would cause that? Just like, was it? You said you cleaned it out, so was there like a bunch of dust and cat hair and shit in there?
Nothing that I would have. No, it's set up high. I mean, there was nothing that was like more horrible than my PC case. Nothing just runs fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was dust and some hair, but it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
In what I would consider like, something would stop working because of this.
So it's just been, I mean, you run that thing how many hours a day with the episodes and stuff?
Hour or two, honestly.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay.
No.
I thought it was worse.
I mean, I probably should be more angry about this than I am, but I'm just like, well, I understand that there is actual like hardware failure rates.
Right.
And whenever you're talking about 40 million consoles on the market, and let's say there's a 1% failure rate, that's not an insignificant number of consoles.
Well, it's interesting that yours went down within the last 2 weeks. Mine has started to go down too.
Really?
Mine's not a launch console. I bought mine 2014 September. I think. Wait, when did it come out?
It's been 3 years. It was 2013.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So I think it was a year later.
Pretty sure.
Because I bought mine when Destiny came out. I bought my PS4 for Destiny. Sue me.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. So it's off, and then it just beeps. Beep, beep, beep.
No, mine doesn't do that.
Yeah, it's the video signal is not have a problem, but it's this beeping thing. So I have to unplug it, power cycle it, or I'm not power cycle it, that's the Xbox. But release all the static charge. Basically, it's those capacitive buttons are storing static, so it thinks it's trying to get turned on, and there's not enough static to get it turned all the way on. So whoever thought of those buttons is a moron. And the Slim doesn't have them now. They just have the push buttons.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my rant's over.
Yeah, I have to make a choice now on what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
It's $150 to send it into Sony. Just flat, like 150.
And then they will fix it, not like...
They will fix it.
I mean, I would do that because chances are they might not fix it and just send you a new one.
That's the possibility. But then there's the Slim and the Pro coming out as well.
Yeah.
But I really don't have the money to deal with any of it right now. My budget for September is done, and I'm not
totally shut.
It is definitely not one that I'm like, well, this is high priority for me. Like, clothes and stuff for my kids is the high priority for
Yep.
school and things. So
Right.
Budget, I will figure it out for October.
Yeah.
What I want to do with the thing.
Right.
Which
That makes
is only
sense.
a week away.
Yeah.
So
Man, if my PS4 went out, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I have other consoles to play, but man, I play the PS4 the most.
oh, it was still set. I was like, what? Why? I mean, it's crashed before. Like I haven't.
Oh yeah.
I've had some things crash, but this is I built computers long enough and had computers long enough to know what a video crash is.
Yep.
And that was totally a video card GPU just
shit in the bed,
freaking out. Yeah.
That sucks, man. My condolences in this time of tragedy.
This time of tragedy, I was like, okay. I won't be trying anything on the PS4 for a little bit.
Speaking of the opposite of tragedy for most people, but for me it brings a tear to my eye. News out of this is from VG 24/7, but this is from Yves Guillemot that from Ubisoft, saying that the Assassin's Creed franchise may not see another entry until 2018. Basically, he said that it'll come back when it's ready, and it's not necessarily 2017.
I'm so happy about that.
I know, and a lot of people are. They're like, just take the time. And it's true. Take the time to make it a great game. We have so much to play. Who cares? But, you know, Syndicate was so fucking good. But I figured out what I think they're going to do. This year, they're putting out the Ezio trilogy, which is awesome, because I get to play that for the first time, and I can't wait to do that. Next year, if they don't have a game out, they're going to put Rogue. They're going to remaster Rogue for PS4 and Xbox One and put Rogue out, because that only came out for PS3, and people loved that game.
That's true.
That came out with Unity.
There's some side things that they could be doing.
Yeah, that's true too. So
there's definitely. I don't think you'll see no Assassin's Creed things, but yeah,
right.
The next main game, yeah. And I'm so happy they're just going to take time. The games are always better when they have more time in the development.
Yeah. And for you, like if you were like dying to get into an Assassin's Creed game, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna. I forget what you said about getting the Ezio trilogy or not.
I kind of want it. I don't know if I should get it, but I own them all.
Right. Well, for you, like you should, if you get this Assassin's Creed, you should just pop in Syndicate if you ever get a PS4 that works.
It's true. It will happen. I will get another one.
God, it is amazing. And it just sucks because it came out after Unity when people were kind of down on the series and it didn't sell as well as the last one. God, that game.
I think they're doing the right thing on that part where we're just taking time.
Yep, absolutely.
Letting fatigue wear off before putting out another one, and then they can truly put out something that they're like, no, look it, we've taken a couple of years to figure out where we can take this series now.
That's right.
And interesting turns.
So if you were if you had the choice to say what their setting was going to be, what historical setting, what would you choose?
I always thought that they were going to do something in Egypt.
That's the rumor right now.
I mean, that's always been the one that I've thought. It was either that or they would actually go to feudal Japan. Samurai.
Yeah.
They've hinted at some of that stuff, but they've never done it.
Yeah, I would like to see them get off of Europe. As much as I want to see them do a Spanish Assassin's Creed, I want to see them get out of Europe and give us something African, even. And I know Egypt is Africa, but
colonization one would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That would actually be really interesting. Doing one that's about the colonization of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be such a. It would work perfectly into the lore too of the Templars and Assassins in a new world and how the native population reacts to that.
Right. And I think that would give you a chance to have a varied game because obviously you'd be going to different parts of Africa. Yeah. I don't know. I still want to see a Spanish one, but it's Europe. I mean, we have so much European that I'd like to see something else.
I can see Egypt, though. That would be a good one.
I think that's what we're going to be getting. That's what the rumor is. I wish that they would try America again. That 3 was just bored the crap out of me.
It was boring in comparison. I played a decent amount of it, though. It was fine. It just didn't. It doesn't hold up like the other ones do.
Right. Yeah, I think I might try to get back to it one day. I don't know.
It's not as compelling as the other games, as a lot of the other ones. So
and Syndicate is so compelling. I swear to God, if I had played that last year instead of this year, it would have been my game of the year. It really, really, really would have. It would have beaten. No, it wouldn't have. What the fuck am I talking about?
Witcher 3.
It would not have beaten Witcher 3. Okay, it would have been number 2. Fucking take that all back. What the fuck? I take it all back.
Let's roll back the hyperbole.
Yeah, exactly, man.
You're in it.
I'm in it. I'm so in it. Well, I'll say that for later. Last piece of news. This is surprising. This is from not Yooka-Laylee. It is from Playtonic. Is that the developer? But the ones who are doing Yooka-Laylee, I think it's Playtonic.
Yeah, and this is from
Yacht Club Games.
The link you had is Yacht Club is talking about it.
Yeah, so basically, Shovel Knight is 3D modeled now, and he's an NPC in Yooka-Laylee, which should be coming out next year.
So weird.
So weird.
It's so random. I'm like, how did this even come about?
Yep. Like, okay, that's cool. I don't know how that fits into your world, but I don't know what your world's like. Anyways, it's just cool to see Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
And that kind of opens the door for other kind of throw callbacks. There's got to be a Banjo-Kazooie, like, something in that game. Like,
mate, I bet there's Easter eggs that kind of hint to it, but unless they can get Microsoft to be like, it's cool if you put Banjo and Kazooie in here. It's okay.
I don't see why not, because the only thing that could do is like get people to say, oh, I wish I had a Banjo game. Like, maybe we should make one. I don't know. But you got to.
It's weird. I mean, it's
protective
all
of
legal
IP.
stuff, so
exactly.
We'll see what the lawyers have to say.
That's right. But it looks pretty. I'm a backer of Yooka-Laylee, so I'll be getting that game when it comes out.
Nice.
Someday.
Someday.
Just put, Nintendo, please, if it is true that Smash is coming to the NX, and if it is, it makes sense for them to add a couple of characters to kind of like entice the people who bought it for the Wii U to buy it again, or whatever they're going to do to incentivize it. Put Shovel Knight as a character.
It's true.
Ugh.
It'd be nice if they reached out to some indies to get characters in there.
Yeah, I agree. Shovel Knight is just like screaming to be in that game. Have you played Shovel Knight, by the way?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a total throwback game. I don't own it. I played it at a convention, actually, before it came out.
Oh, okay.
At PAX one year, I played through, like, a level. And I was like, this is really good.
It's so good. It's so good.
As a platformer, I mean, it's just a great, perfect throwback platformer.
Yep. When I had it on the Wii U, so I just sat in my little easy chair with my gamepad and just playing. My wife was like, what are you playing? I flipped it over to the TV. She's like, oh, okay. Turn it back. I want to watch baseball again.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's, she's like, how old is this game? I was like, oh, like a month? She's like, it looks like the games that I played when I was a kid. I was like, yep, that's the point.
Yep.
They nailed it. Oh, so good. So that takes care of the news for this week. Next week, we will come to you with news about some cool stuff. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Hopefully some NX stuff, but probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah. That's all right. Okay, Nintendo, just keep being quiet. When we come back from the break, we are going to talk about games we are playing, so stay right there, and we will be right back. All right, my friends, welcome back from the break. I'm Larry. Over there is Anthony. I am at Prof Plays Games, and he is at Summer Speak, and we're here to talk about the brand new games that we are playing. Totally new. Nothing
totally
old.
New. Let's talk about the 15-year-old game I'm playing.
Still hip deep in Diablo 2, huh?
I am. I still haven't beat Act 2.
Shit, you're still leveling?
I'm leveling and putting together a magic find set of gear so I can find better gear. That's what I need right now.
That loop of...
Yeah. I'm still such a good loop in that game. I'm like, I've got like 15 minutes. I'm just going to go do a run of... so I've got all the waypoints in Act 2. And then I'm running the Canyon of the Magi, where it has a bunch of... Each of those... Duriel's in one of them, and I know which one he's in. And so I go to all the other ones, and they all have multiple rare monsters in them and like rare chests. So I've just been doing that and having a blast. And
the loop in that game is crazy because, like, okay, it's a loot loop. So to get better loot, get better gear, I need to get gear that has high magic find, so that I can use that gear to get other gears. It's brilliant.
There's some brilliance to that whole thing. So, yep, still in it, still enjoying it.
And you're playing as the assassin, right?
Assassin, doing a trap kind of build this time. I haven't really ever done trap build, shockingly. I usually use martial arts, but this one will be a mixed traps and then focus on Phoenix Strike, which is it's a Death Sentry and Phoenix Strike. So martial arts and traps together, not dual wielding.
Okay. You got a shield.
So shield in one claw, and then use Shadow Master to spawn another assassin that can use all the skills that I know.
Damn.
So I have basically two assassins doing all this, laying traps that do a ton of damage. Yeah, should be a lot of fun.
This is Assassin's Creed, your own style of Assassin's Creed.
Kind of. So, yeah, that's been fun. Been playing that. And then I did put a little bit more time into BioShock. Still in the medical pavilion, working through their freaky, crazy, scary dentist. God. If you're terrified of dentists, here you go. Have more.
Not me. I'm dentist. I like dentists. They're fine.
But going through the ice parts of that level, now that I unlock those since I had fire. So a little bit of Metroidvania in that game that I remember. So like you need certain plasmids to unlock the next parts of the map.
Right.
So yeah, it still holds up. It's a fantastic game. So completely and totally unnerving, and the world is just so realized. Even games today can't. Most of them don't even come close to fully realizing their settings, the setting that they're putting their game in.
And this is the game that was done after System Shock 2 by this company?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because the atmosphere of that game was intense.
Yes, and this is the spiritual successor to the Shock series. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why they called it BioShock. So it's just that type. You can see in so much of it where it's just kind of streamlined the System Shock experience,
right?
Like but it's that DNA of those games just run throughout it. Yeah, so still enjoying that. Didn't get as much time into that as I wanted, but it's just a hard game for me to play at night. Like I can play a little bit and then I need to stop so that I can calm down and actually go to bed, because it just amps me up. But on the other thing I played that is not a computer game, I finally got my Star Wars role-playing game. I got to play it. Nice.
I saw that you posted on Facebook about this.
Yes, I did. I did add you, even though you're not around.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I made a second. I have a number of lists on Facebook, actually, depending on who I want to see my posts.
Gaming friends, acquaintances, blah, blah, blah.
Something like that. There's like just general friends, but then I have like a group that I call my share friends that I'm like, these are people I feel just comfortable sharing whatever I feel like sharing. And then I have a gaming group list that I made that is like, okay, people that I wouldn't mind playing games with. Mm-hmm. So I put this up a while ago. I got the beginner's game for Star Wars role-playing game done by a company, Fantasy Flight Games.
Yeah.
I like role-playing games, always have, and it's just this one always intrigued me because it's very narrative focused. And it was exactly that when I got to play it with it was me, my wife, and two of our friends from college came out to a game store yesterday. We celebrated our birthdays yesterday together. Mm-hmm. And we went over and just did some stuff, and our friends came and we played. We had a good lunch and then sat down at the game store and then spent like 5 hours playing games. This took about 4 hours of it playing this Star Wars game, and
awesome.
It was exactly what I wanted. It is. I can't believe how much I enjoyed I was running this game and playing it. Like, I enjoyed role playing, but this one, D&D, I play, and I enjoy D&D. I'm playing D&D tomorrow night. But it's very binary. You roll one die, you succeed or you fail.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a whole lot in its mechanics to kind of push you to be narrative about what you're doing. You're just like, I swing with my sword. Okay, I roll a die. I look for traps. Like, things like that. Where the Star Wars game uses a non-binary dice system where you're like, well, I succeeded, but I got a number of these threat. So what does this all mean? So I did pass what I was trying to do, but some bad stuff is happening to me now. And there's some mechanical stuff in there that you can do with it, but it's very much encouraged to be like around the table, like people chime in and like, okay, maybe this can happen or that can happen. And you're just rolling with a story. It is true, honestly, communal storytelling. And so the dice just help push the story along of like getting everyone involved and like trying to think of like good ways to like interpret what the dice are saying. So, like one of the guys was like, okay, there's a group of guys around our ship that we're trying to get away in. There's 4 of them. He's like, okay, I've got a stun grenade. I'm going to throw it. He's not the best at this. And he doesn't succeed. He doesn't get any failure, but he gets a bunch of advantage. So when we were like, well, what does that mean? I mean, you got 4 advantage, but you don't succeed. Well, you didn't succeed, so it doesn't hurt any of them. It doesn't do that. But it's like, okay, 4 is a lot. So we're like, okay, so it lands in front of them, and it's just like, it's a desert. Jakku from Force Awakens is where this is being set, and it blows sand into their, like, hits the ground and blows up. It basically becomes a flashbang at that point.
Yeah.
And so they're, like, blinded for a turn. And
you just invented that outcome.
Yeah, as the group. I mean, he did it. So I was like, okay, what are your advantage? What do you want this to do? Like, and someone else, our other friend chimed in, was like, wouldn't that be cool if it did that? And he's like, yeah, that's awesome. We all agreed, and we just continued.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
It facilitates the thing that I have always loved about role playing, and it does it really well. So I've kind of been on a high since playing that game. I've just been like, and my wife agrees. She's like, this is really fun. It's kind of like that thing that I wanted out of role playing.
I never thought, this is going to sound so stupid to you, but I've never thought about like D&D as just communal storytelling.
That's all role playing is.
Yeah.
It's us. It's the continuation of us sitting around fires telling stories.
Right.
I mean, harkens back to that very base instinct of we just want to tell a story to people, but we want to tell it in groups.
Right. And gamify it in some way.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of add some variation, like you have to adapt it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there are plenty of role-playing games that have no dice. Like, almost like failure is there's a whole range. Like D&D is a very mechanical side of it, and then there's other systems that are very, very narrative. So yeah, I mean, that's why I've always enjoyed it more than anything. Right. I think that shifted over time. I loved working with the mechanics back in like high school. That was just I loved reading rules and like what worked, what didn't, how do you create characters and stuff. But when I hit college and I started running games and playing in games, it became more of a like just sitting around with friends telling a story.
Right.
So yeah,
awesome.
I was prepping for that a lot this week and got to do it, and I was very excited and happy.
When's the next time you guys going to get a chance to play?
We're working on what we want to do, because my wife and I, we definitely want to continue. We all are adults and have lives, so that's a hard part.
Yeah.
But we're going to use this thing. They don't sponsor us because no one sponsors us, but I will be using this online app called Roll20. And it's a virtual tabletop in your browser. So, and it does video and voice as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a virtual tabletop where you can find images, put them as maps. You have tokens. You can move. People can move around. It supports this game. You can roll dice. You can have music playing. So I've heard about. I've known people that have done games through there, and it's worked really well. So the plan would be that we'll be doing once. Hopefully, in I hope in October we can figure out exactly when, but we would start doing a game where we're just it would be me and my wife, another friend, and our friends down in LA.
Awesome.
Just using that on one night, hopefully one night a week, and we can just play. And everyone seems excited. And my other friend both my friends from college had never played the system and really enjoyed it. Like we all were having a blast. That was the thing. Like we're at this game store and we're all just laughing and having a blast and like just getting into it. So
that's the point, man.
Yeah.
Being around friends and laughing.
Yeah, it was definitely something I had missed for a long time. So I'm happy it worked out.
Man, maybe I should find a role-playing group down here and check it out.
It's hard to... I do recommend it. I mean,
not necessarily that game. I mean, like a role-playing game. Like, I've been to a couple of D&D meetups, and it wasn't engaging, but what you just described makes it sound really fun.
It can be. But that's the thing. The group is very important. Yeah. And it's... I will say, like, a lot of the open D&D stuff, so there's, like, Wizards of the Coast does a, like, D&D Adventure League, and stores can run that. And I will say that is very mechanical. Like, one of the things last week so my D&D game last week at the store, there were 29 people playing D&D. There were 4 different games going on. The entire cafe was people playing D&D. Those Adventure League games were like groups of 7 and 8. But they can't tell people to go away. They just split to 2 groups. Right. They still work a group like that because it's a Wizard sponsored thing. Like Wizard of the Coast sends them adventures and materials, and it's like, no, that's supposed to be open for anyone to drop in. Right. But whenever you look at games like that, they become very mechanical because it's an unknown group of people. Yeah. My D&D group, I didn't know. I knew 2 of them because I'd played other games with them, Netrunner with them before. But none of them I really knew. But our game has worked in, like, we've all, over a few weeks, gotten used to each other, and it's just an absurd game now. It's just funny. Like, nice. We're definitely out of that mechanics thing and just trying to be silly, and, like, we enjoy just talking and playing now. Yeah. So... Awesome. It's a hard thing. It's definitely just randomly trying to find a group. It's so hit or miss. Yeah.
I'm glad you're able to find that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And then you play new stuff, right?
Yeah, just like brand new. These games you've never heard of before. First one is called Destiny, Destiny Rise of Iron. The
Rise of Iron part is new.
The Rise of Iron part is new, sorta. It's the same. Okay, so it's got like a 2-hour, I think it was maybe 2 hours of a campaign where you're basically becoming the new Iron Lord. Spoilers, I guess. The story, like, no one plays Destiny for the story. In fact, I think the writing in Destiny is like some of the worst writing I've ever seen in video games, like that I've experienced.
Actually, shockingly how bad. You look at it and you're like, I wouldn't put Halo up there as amazing writing.
Oh God, no. But it's better.
Like, how is this worse than that?
Right.
What's wrong?
Yeah, Halo is also bad. This is worse. Like, and the reason why I think it's worse is I just feel like they're trying to imbue their world or their writing with so much mystery that they put all these things in, like the Traveler or the Forerunners and all this shit, and it's like they never really explain it. They never really get into it because it's supposed to be mysterious, and we use these I forget what it was. Lord Saladin used some term toward the end of the campaign, the concept or something like that. Like the problem with the situation is that we can't bring the blah 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 to the concept and the construct, and the construct's the key. It's like, what the fuck is a construct? Like, what is happening? Like, who cares? Like, I don't even need to know. Like, this just, like, really bad. Like, when I had like the creative writing classes in college, or even my like shitty fantasy I tried to write, like, bad. It's terrible. The writing's awful. So don't play it for the writing. But the mechanics are sweet. I really like I love the mechanics, and I love the way they design boss fights. Like, I haven't done a raid yet, but our mutual friend Travis is putting together a group so that I can actually do a raid finally. But the way that they like do the boss battles, like the final boss battle in this expansion is the best boss battle that I've played in Destiny. It is so fun. It was so smart. It's not boring or rote or the same thing. It's to get there you're kind of shooting things, and that's kind of the same, but you get to the bosses and they're really unique. So I beat the campaign, and $30 for a 2-hour campaign kind of sucks, but the Destiny Rise of Iron expansion is not just that campaign. There's new patrolling. They've kind of upgraded the patrolling so it's more interactive. It's just more interesting to do. It doesn't feel quite like a grind, even though you really are grinding. There's a Galahorn quest where everyone can get a Galahorn if you complete this quest, and this quest is fucking crazy. I started it yesterday, and I thought I could just kind of run through it in a night. Yeah, what the hell was I thinking? It's a little obtuse. And then there's some new strikes. The strike playlist has been upgraded. The loot I thought was better this time. I mean, I went from light level 310 to light level 325 or something like that in the time that I played. I don't know. It's just the multiplayer in Destiny is like the only multiplayer I really play on the PlayStation, and it's really fun. Just everything about it is fun. There's a ton of content, and it just got me back into Destiny. Like, I played it every night since it came out for like at least an hour, maybe 2.
I will never fault Destiny for its mechanics.
Best in the business, man.
Bungie knows how to make FPSs, and they know how to make FPSs on console feel really good.
And
they've learned how to do the MMO part.
Yeah, and
that took them a while because it really wasn't there on their base Destiny.
No, it wasn't. Like
vanilla, they dropped the ball really hard on that part.
Yeah, vanilla Destiny. Once I got through the campaign, I was like, okay, what's what? And I just stopped playing for a long time.
It was Taken King, where they figured that out. Like, they definitely revamped enough that, like, okay,
well, and
here's how to make the grind worth something,
right? And they figured out the story in Taken King, and I feel like the story, the writing sucks, and it's not nearly as good as Taken King. But there is a sequence, there is some sort of like a micro narrative happening with this Iron Lord thing, and it's really cool. Yeah. This like see Lord Saladin, and that part was okay. And the new like social area is really cool. There's a couple cool jump puzzles in there, or like platforming puzzles in there that are okay. I think that they think that Destiny is a better platformer than it is.
Platforming in first person is always terrible.
Yeah, it's really dumb.
Or even in weird third. No,
like Recore's platforming is also kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, I'm starting to figure out some of the new mechanics, and I just every night I played for like an hour and a half, and that was 2 nights or 3 nights for the campaign, and the rest is multiplayer or patrolling the Plague Lands, which is cool because when the public events happen, you kind of band up with a bunch of people and take these things out. It's and I'm looking forward to playing with Travis and his group and doing a raid finally, because I haven't experienced that yet, but that's like the best part of the whole game, and it's kind of locked behind this. You got to find 5 other people that you can work with, and I just never can line up schedules and things like that. So yeah, I've been playing that, and then there was a Ubisoft sale on PSN, and I've been just watching the season pass for Assassin's Creed Syndicate to see, because I wanted to play the Jack the Ripper stuff and whatever, but I think it was like $30. I'm like, I'm not going to pay $30 for a season pass, which the season pass is like 2 or 3 hours of content. So I'm waiting for it to go on sale, and it hasn't. But this time, the gold edition of Syndicate, which was the base game plus the season pass, was on sale. Yeah, it was $29, and then I had a 20% off coupon. So I had a cart full of stuff, so I added that to it. So it ended up being, $24, I think, for the whole game plus the expansion pass. Or season pass. So I got all of it for less than the price of the season pass. And now it's digital, so I can just kind of load it up whenever I want. So I loaded up Syndicate just to make sure that my save file worked. And then I saw, some of the burrows weren't conquered yet. I need to conquer all the boroughs to get that trophy. Oh, I need to get this trophy. Oh, I need to collect those things. And I just
got lost in it.
I got totally lost in it. Like, I just started playing it again, and I started playing it on probably Friday. And I think I've put like 6 hours into it. Just that game is rad. That game is so fun. The mechanics are great. Like, I don't know if I could go back to an Assassin's Creed where you don't shoot like a zip line, and can zip line across the city. That's such a great mechanic. But I just love London. I love this setting.
With the Ezio trilogy, then.
I know that's the one thing I'm worried about, is that I can't do this, going backwards like that. But it's just the setting. London is great. I love just being in the city. It's really well detailed. And there's the collectible stuff. For some reason, the collectathon in this game, like, I love it.
I did a ton of the. I never platinumed like any of them, but I was shocked at how compelled I was to collect things in those games. Like, I do remember in Brotherhood, you build like a new assassin order, and you recruit people. And it's a stupid side thing where you just send them away on missions, a lot like Metal Gear Solid 5, actually. So, like, it's just this like side thing where you're like, okay, this dude, and this dude, like, go do these missions around Europe and like the Middle East, and they get you things and collect stuff, but it levels them up and makes it. I did everything I possibly could in that.
Oh my god!
It was so many hours of just letting these things go and run and letting the game run and coming back and checking and doing that. But I also unlocked like everything in Rome, like. Can't remember. I made sure I got like every lookout possible, like tons of just random collectibles there. And Black Flag, I did the same thing. Once I was just on the open ocean, I definitely did way more than I needed to do. It's like, I'm not beating the game yet. I want to go collect things.
I need to get back to Black Flag. For some reason the sailing just turned me off, but maybe I was just not doing it right. But yeah, I think it's because I'm a history buff. Like, I just love collecting like all the beer, because I get to read about the beer brands and the flowers, like, and the like, what the hell happened? Like, this is like, the base game is fucking rad. That game is so good.
It's a history lesson. All the games are
it is a history lesson,
honestly.
But the visuals are good, the music is good, the story is great, the city, just being in the city is awesome, and then like all these little side things are great. Like, this game is a 10 to me. Like, and I'm my goal. I don't know if I'm going to achieve this or not, but I want to platinum this game before the end of the year. Like, it's
what is the thing? You have to destroy how many things by running a character?
5,000.
I watched some video. It was on Facebook. It was a live thing where it was one of the game. I think it might have been Polygon. Two women were doing it. And they're like, "We're going to unlock this trophy." And they're just driving around horses and carriages, just running over things forever.
How long did it take them to finally do it?
I think they took them they were probably already close, but I think it took their live stream about 40 minutes of constant. Jesus. Like, they had been doing stuff already. I mean, they were well past the end of the game. Like, had been doing other things and just were like, we're going to push the rest of the way.
Well, there was I saw that Reddit thread later after I beat the game. When I finally saw that trophy, and I was like, how the hell am I supposed to do this? Some speculation that it was a typo that was supposed to be 500, but they just left it, which I don't know if I believe that or not. But they were saying, if you just, every time you go anywhere, like, don't use a zip line, don't jump, don't climb the windows or climb the buildings or whatever. Just get in the carriage, and everywhere you have to go, just run into things as you go. And then by the end of the game, you'll be almost there. I'm like, damn it, I didn't start doing this till after the game was over, because I like to traverse with the zip line. I don't want to ride around in the carriage. So now when I'm doing all the like the memories, like there's these memory sequences for like Darwin and Queen Victoria and all these other people that I didn't do. So as I'm doing all these things, it's basically like a second or third. There's so many games buried in this game, but I'm using the carriage to just crush everything. And I'm hoping by the end of the year, it's almost like the Riddler trophies in Batman, where like I got everything except for the Riddler trophies.
Do they show you progress?
No.
Okay, so you just do it until the trophy pops.
Yes. So on PS4, on Xbox One, maybe, I don't know, because they usually track your trophies on Xbox. So I have no idea, but in PS4, no. So,
yeah, I just didn't know if there was an in-game, because I know a lot of games will also put their own internal, they'll expose their internal counts.
Yeah. Well, if I saw the eternal count and it said like 1,000, I would just be like, fuck me. But there's a place, I don't remember where it's at, but it's just a circle. So all the guides that I saw said run this circle, just go all the way around, and when you come back to the beginning of it, all the stuff will reappear. So you're just doing a circle the whole time. Just keep going and going. And that's the worst kind of trophy, man. Like, I like the trophies that pop up naturally. Like one I got yesterday was kill 5 people from the same haystack. So I just hung out in the haystack and kind of like tried to whistle people over, and finally got the 5th guy and killed him, and then it popped. And that's something that you would normally do. But this running into 5,000 things, god damn.
That is a troll achievement, if there ever was one. It's just we're gonna do this. This is gonna be hilarious when people have to do this.
Well,
and yes, developers would do that.
Yeah,
trust me. We will totally do things like that. We're like, let's see how far players would go.
Well, the other thing I don't like about it is that it breaks the immersion. Like, my horse can't run into a light pole and knock the light pole down and still be alive. So that's a little weird. But anyway, that game is fucking rad. I don't know if it's because of the setting, like London or what, but it's just, I cannot stop thinking about it again. And it was a game that I couldn't put down in the beginning of the year. So that's what I'm playing. 2 old games just like you.
It's true.
Yeah.
They're old stuff. You know what you're getting.
Yeah. And it's just like putting on an old hoodie or something. It just feels good.
It does.
It just feels good. So, it's part of the reason why I'm kind of glad I canceled the VR thing, because I have so much to play on my monitor. I don't really need another system.
It's true.
I have so much to play and to replay, apparently.
Whatever hits you, strikes you. That's the best part.
Yep, exactly. That's how I play. So when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about some television. So stay right there, and we will be right back. Hopefully both of us will be back. All right, my friends, welcome back from the break. I'm Larry, that's Anthony, and we're going to talk about some television for the fall. Are you looking forward to anything that's coming out?
I think next Friday, Luke Cage comes out. Totally in for that one.
I have one fucking thing on my list. And
that one is really big to me. My love of Star Wars is still all here. Star Wars Rebels just started back up. Its first episode for season 3 was last night. The cartoon that's currently running. Cartoon, right? Yeah. And it was awesome, as I expected. They're actually introducing, the big thing is, so did you know when Disney bought Lucasfilm and they started The Force Awakens, they wiped out the extended universe? When that whole thing, they just were like,
I heard about that.
We can't make stories while we're constrained with this extended universe stuff. Which makes sense. Like, Lucas even actually, when he owned it, had no issue contradicting any extended universe stuff. He was just like, no, it's extended universe. Right. I don't bless any of it, and I might just destroy it with my own stories. So Disney was just like, we're just not doing that. We're just going to wipe it. It doesn't exist. But everything that we do is all connected and is canon. So they're bringing back a character that was really popular. Timothy Zahn's original books. Thrawn was the Grand Admiral. Thrawn was like a super popular extended universe character, and he is now officially through Rebels now back in the canon of Star Wars. Slightly different story, but the same basic character. And Timothy Zahn, who the writer, is actually writing a new Thrawn book to come out next year.
This is my local friend who's just obsessed with Star Wars. This is the thing that he was telling me about too. And from what I understand, first of all, it's just like super popular with the people who love the extended universe. But is he one of the only extended universe characters to come across?
This is the first time that they've done it.
Yeah.
And it's basically like,
so it's not the only one,
you're not opposed to bringing these characters back, but you're going to bring them back in the way that you want them to be on your own terms. And
that's right.
I've started on Twitter following this guy Pablo Hidalgo. He's on the story group for Star Wars, and it sounds like the way that it works at Lucasfilm now under Disney is there's a story group, and people doing Rebels and writing the books and doing the movies, they send their scripts or their ideas to the story group, and the story group works with them on like, well, you might want to change the like this, and this because that's going to overwrap something else that's happening. Or another way it goes like, oh, I see this character that you've written here is a lot like this character that's in the extended universe or that we've already made. Do you want to use them? And to weave that, I mean, there's this like, it's the same way that Marvel works in a lot of ways. It's how they keep the universe woven together. And I think that's how Thrawn came back. They're like, we need a character like this. Oh, the extended universe had a character like that. Let's use that. So I can't imagine that they won't do that going forward in other ways, where they're like, okay, we need this type of character or that type of character. We can give fans what they want while also telling the story that we want.
Right. And I like that it's tuned. I feel like they are pretty tuned into what fans want, for the most part. And even with in the video game space, where they were like, we're going to stop making our own games. We're going to contract people who actually make really good games. We're not just going to, give all of our licenses out to Activision for them to shit out crappy games. We're going to give Spider-Man to, like, I think it's Sucker Punch. Is it Sucker Punch? Yeah, okay. Wait, no. It's not Sucker Punch, is it? It's Insomniac, isn't it? I think it's Insomniac who's getting Spider-Man. Or am I making that?
Spider-Man PS4.
I think it's Insomniac. But anyway, yeah.
Insomniac,
but,
yes.
So they're giving it to proven developers.
People thought it was going to be
Sucker
Punch.
Sucker Punch, that's right. And I like that. Like, let's make good games. Let's just not shit out games with this license. So that's good to see.
So yeah, I mean, those are the two that I'm mostly looking for. Like, two. But there's this Kristen Bell comedy that's getting really good reviews. The Good Place. It's by a Park and Recs dude, right? Showrunner, writer. I'm pretty sure it is. I've read that. The Good Place.
What's it called again? The Good Place, right? Yeah. It's not Mike Schur, is it?
It is Mike Schur. Yeah.
No way.
Mike Schur is the showrunner.
I'm so watching this.
I'm actually looking through the list of people. Oh, Drew Goddard is executive producer. Drew Goddard's he did the script for The Martian. He adapted the book for the movie, which he did, and then he did such a good job. He worked with he directed The Cabin in the Woods. If you haven't heard that horror movie with Joss Whedon, him and Whedon worked a lot together. He worked on Buffy and Angel back in the day, and for Cabin in the Woods, him and Joss Whedon went to a hotel room in LA for a weekend and wrote that movie. And they decided they decided who was going to actually direct it. It was either going to be Joss Whedon or Drew Goddard, so he got to direct and Whedon got writing credit. Like, it's just funny, like, this guy, I'm like, now he's executive producer, and he was executive producer and showrunner for the first chunk of Daredevil season 1. Like, this is
which is so good.
A good mix of people here. Like, just high quality.
Where is
NBC.
This show? Where is this show at?
Started on September 19th. I haven't watched it yet. I just have been seeing stuff coming out. Like, people are... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu. Watch it on
Hulu.
But I just saw, like, IO9 had a review of it, and they're just like, this is great. This is not just good, it's great. I'm like, okay.
Oh my god, I cannot.
I think their only thing is wondering if you can actually make a full TV show out of it, and they're very interested in that. They're like, it's a cool premise, and it might have, it can last for a little bit, but you could definitely see, like, this might work better as like a mini series or a movie. But I don't know, give me at least a few good episodes at the beginning. I'd be okay.
Right.
So.
Dang, man.
Okay,
that's on my list now.
I'm pretty sure your wife would watch that too.
Oh yeah, that's why. I mean, we love Mike Schur. God, like some of our favorite shows of all time are Mike Schur shows. And Kristen Bell's rad too. Is Expanse season 2
actually,
out this
fall? I don't know
fall?
what's a premiere date. Did you end up watching it?
No, but it's on my list. That I'll get. Yeah, I might as well just go with my list. My list is Luke Cage, The Expanse, and now The Good Place, and then this is a little bit of a stretch, but Telltale Batman. I got the first 2 episodes the other day when I bought Syndicate, so I'm by the time we talk next week, I'll have played through the first 2, which number 2 is getting.
So season 2 of The Expanse won't be until 2017.
Oh, okay. Well, I have time to watch season 1 then.
That makes sense. I think it. So yeah, you do. I do recommend it. It gets going. It's good. You liked Leviathan Wakes, so yeah, you loved it. So
oh my god, I loved it.
The TV show does a good job of
loved it. Yeah,
adapting that and giving you the things that you'd expect and kind of adjusting things here and there. It's not like I would still say that Game of Thrones is a better adaptation overall. Like they're adapting that series better, doing a better job at it. But The Expanse is not like slouching. Like you're like,
yeah. Well, I need to get back into reading that series.
Really
I've only read the first 2 books.
I think the 6th book comes out here in this fall. I can't wait.
It's October. Yeah, I already have it pre-ordered.
That series was so good. Oh yeah.
You got a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to get back into that for sure. Right now I'm reading Hamilton, or Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow, which is what Lin-Manuel Miranda based the musical on. It is incredible. Like, I love history anyway.
This does a good job of
good. Like, I feel like every American needs to read it.
Presenting history in a good way to consume it.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. It's super long. It's like a 36-hour audiobook. I'm listening to the audiobook. So there was a woman in Costco the other day when we were there, and I started freaking out. My wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Look on the conveyor belt." And she's like, "What?" All I see is rosé, like bottles of rosé wine. Like, look past the wine. There's Hamilton. Like, I need to talk to this woman. Karen grabbed my arm. She's like, "Don't do that." Okay. But I want to be like, "You have such great taste in books." Oh my god, it's really good. So when I get through that,
You're not the only one that does that. There's someone on my water taxi who's reading The Expanse series right now. I saw them with Leviathan Wakes, and then like 2 weeks ago I saw them with Caliban's War. And like I'm like, "Oh, you're reading it. Nice. You're going through it." And I'm like, "Should I talk to you? I don't want to interrupt you because you're reading it."
Yes.
That's how I feel bad. I always hate interrupting people when they're actually like, I see that you're reading a book that I like and I enjoyed, but I also don't want to interrupt them actually reading the book I enjoyed because they look like they're enjoying the book.
Right.
And I've been that way with Game of Thrones too. No, like I see random people like starting that whole thing up and I'm like, how far into book 1 are you?
Yeah, I've definitely had people talk to me when I'm reading books, and I like to talk. I just like talking about books, so it's cool. Oh man, it reminds me of this story.
Yeah,
you know the Hangover movies. My cousin really wanted me to watch The Hangover, and so we watched it at his house. Karen was there too, my wife, and we didn't laugh like a single time. Like I didn't find it funny in the slightest. And my cousin was like, "Dude, it's not a movie about books. It's kind of you have to have a different sense of humor." I'm like, what movie about books has ever been funny? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This movie is just not funny.
You're like, anyway. I can point out funny movies.
Bridesmaids.
I actually did not like Bridesmaids.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
I do not like Fege.
Oh my god, humor. I couldn't stop laughing.
But this is comedy. Like, comedy is very subjective, and I really don't like that guy's humor. Like, the way he directs comedy and the whole, like, I've given him a chance on his movies, and I'm just like, these do nothing for me.
Yeah, well, it's good to just walk away.
So I'm just like, okay, I'm sorry, dude. My sense of humor is not your sense of humor. That's fine.
Have you ever watched
Parks
and Recreation? I originally
tried watching it when it first aired. I have not gone back to it, but I watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes, and it just didn't. I heard that it gets a lot better. But I could
Yeah,
not.
the first
I could
season,
not get into the
even
first
like
season.
first,
Like I tried.
yeah, us too. First time we tried, we're like, this is crap. And we came back and tried it again. We're like, this isn't that great, but we kept going. Get past the first season and a half, and it's just like the best.
I mean, I've seen clips from later parts in it that I absolutely love. Like I've seen, like, and I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But man, when it first aired, I was like, I don't think I can do this right now. But there's a lot of shows that are honestly like that.
We were the same
second
way.
seasons are almost universally better than first if they can get there.
Did you think the Daredevil second season was better than the first? I feel like a lot of people think it is, but I don't.
I'm trying to think through everything. No, I actually still think first season is the better, but I don't think second season is bad at all. I still think second season.
Oh no,
I think first season works better because Kingpin is a better villain, and that's what
I agree.
That's pretty much the only reason that season 2 doesn't. It just doesn't have that. The villain in season 2 just isn't as imposing as Kingpin. Right,
and I almost felt like they didn't really know what they were doing with it, like with
Nobu, and just
right?
the whatever that ninja clan was, like it just didn't.
Right.
It wasn't as personal in a lot of ways. It just it was kind of more convoluted. I mean, the Punisher arc was really good at the beginning. Like that was just an interesting. I was like, good, you're actually getting these two very important these characters clashing in an interesting way with very different philosophies on how you should go about being a crime fighter and a vigilante. And like, I really liked how they did the Punisher. But I mean, that was only the first 4 or 5 episodes of the season, and then he goes away for a lot of it.
Well, but
they shift the focus onto Nobu, and I won't give other spoilers.
Yeah, but that's why I thought that it was disjointed. That's why I didn't like it, because I thought it was disjointed. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, when third season starts, I can only imagine Kingpin will be back.
Oh yeah. God, Vincent D'Onofrio, I fell in love with that guy in that crime procedural he did. We watched it in Peace Corps. I can't remember what it was, but he was so good, and he's great as Kingpin.
And Luke Cage looks interesting. I'm very interested to see how that ties in with everything, and I really hope Jessica Jones shows up a little bit.
I hope so too. I still think Jessica Jones is leaps and bounds better than Daredevil.
I agree. And Jessica Jones is the best that they've done on Netflix. It's insane how good that show was.
Oh, her and David Tennant.
And I love David Tennant anyway. Like, I've loved him as Doctor Who, and I have him playing Hamlet on, and I've seen plenty of other stuff he's done. He's just such an amazing actor, and he just nailed that role. Perfect villain and he perfectly encapsulated the comic villain in his own way that went great against Jessica Jones. Like, that arc is just perfect.
Absolutely.
The villain is very personal to the problems of the hero. So they just play off each other and just go, it was so good. And that he's never gonna.
So good.
And he did say he's never gonna be back on it though. Tennant. Yeah. He's just like, there's basically, in the showrunner said, there's not a place, if they ever wanted to retread to Kilgrave, the showrunner, she doesn't think there's a place for him in the show anymore. Like, they've finished that whole arc and that whole, like, emotional part. There's other things that need to be worked through.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I feel like sometimes when you retread things that are so great, you make them less great.
Which makes me wonder what a second season of Jessica Jones is going to be like overall, like without it feeling disjointed. Like, what's the next thing?
I feel like part of the reason why season 1 was so good, obviously the chemistry of the actors, but it was just none of us knew what to expect. So I think maybe go that direction, give us something we don't expect. God, it's so good. When Daredevil's funny for me, because I started watching Daredevil when I was studying Spanish, so I've not watched a second of Daredevil in English. and I can't imagine
That's
watching
kind of
it
awesome.
in English now. Like all the voice actors, it's really weird. Like all the voice actors in my head,
Luke
like
Cage, what are you
those
going to
voice
do?
actors.
English or Spanish? Okay.
Yeah, English. Yeah, I'm gonna do English because that's a new series.
I would be
think
very
at this point,
interested
who
to
knows what I'm
see
gonna do.
what they would do for big African American dude subbed in Spanish, like dubbed in Spanish. What would that actually be?
I can tell you right now, it's going to be like a deep, gruff,
Okay.
like Mexico City accent.
It's just funny. I'm just like,
that's my
I
guess.
don't actually know how that works. It's like whenever I hear American movies dubbed in like Japanese, and you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah. That's how I feel like switching back to Daredevil in English. Like, you're not the voice. Like, I don't know. You're not. That's not you. Especially, I mean, I did switch back into English for like a couple minutes just to see what the voices sounded like. And
Ellen Page.
Helen? What's the girl?
Not Ellen Page. No, it's actress.
Is that the character's name or the actress's name?
I thought it was.
No. Ellen Page is in.
Actress.
No.
Why do I know
that's a different
that?
character.
I should know all these.
I can't remember, but
Karen
her
Page
voice is like really like. There we go, Karen Page, is really like. It was sexy to me, or like it had like this resonance that like was really like attractive, and then I turned to English and I was like, oh no.
This is ruin it.
Let's switch that back. Yeah, this is really ruining it.
Yeah.
So that's the fall stuff that I'm looking forward to.
Maybe next week we can have an off topic, because I bet both of us will watch some Luke Cage at that point potentially. I won't binge it all in one day. It will probably take me at least a week to probably get through it all.
I won't be able to because my wife.
Okay.
I think we're gonna watch it together. Although, yeah, I think she's probably gonna at least start.
I'll be interested to know if she continues that one or not. Like that's.
Yeah, I kind of doubt she will, but she'll start it. But we need to finish Difficult People right now. We're almost done with that on Hulu, which is also really great. Just this irreverent comedy.
All right.
So yeah, it's just we live in a golden age of content, man. Books.
I was having a conversation about someone about like whenever you try to go back and watch like older stuff now, like stuff from like the 70s and 80s or anything like that. It was in the thing because they're doing a new MacGyver. But you try to go watch.
Oh, I heard about that.
I guarantee, go to watch an old episode of MacGyver. It's terrible. It is so bad.
I bought season 1 to take with me to Peace Corps, and we bought a couple of other season 1s of stuff. And I was like so excited. And we sat down and watched MacGyver, and I watched one episode, and we're like, this is fucking terrible.
And then you like, but you look at it now, and you're like, look at what TV and like movies and everything is now, and I'm like, they're just leaps and bounds better. Usually, like even bad stuff is better now, and I'm just like, is that just the normal progression of art in some ways? Is it because everyone's trying to do better than what came before? You just keep producing better and better things, and over a generation, look at how much better. Like TV, especially starting in the 30s was the first TV, and I don't even know when the first actual like TV shows were.
Yeah, well, they were radio plays,
but
before
TV
the
changes
TV shows.
that kind of, like, so you're just like, let's start at the start of those, and we've gotten probably 60, 70 years of TV now. We're still working on making better things.
Yeah, and I think it's true. I think in any arena in life that you can name, it's that old maxim of we stand on the shoulders of giants. So like we do something good, and someone else takes pieces of it and makes something better, and then someone else comes along and takes pieces of all of that, makes something better. Like we just with time, things get better and better. Like the best show ever right now is in 10 years there'll be things that are way better
boundaries than that. So we do live in a very good time of media right now in that regard.
It's so hard to choose like what to focus on though. Like there's so much good stuff. Like what do I spend my time on right now? You just kind of have to just grab something and go.
No, not at all.
You can't spend much time thinking about it. All right, Anthony, thanks so much for your time tonight. It's been
Seems
great
like
having
it.
this long episode with you. Yeah, this is our longest one in a while. We went to town on the TV section here. So if you're still there, thanks so much for being there. This has been episode 52 of Prof and Dev Play Games? Plays Games? No, Prof and Dev Play Games. Yeah, I'm the English teacher here. I'm at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and Anthony is at SummerSpeak if you want to tell us what you're playing or what your TV shows you like and yada yada. Until next week, thanks so much for being here. Night, folks.